Hi, and welcome to the Infrascale Cloud Backup demonstration. Today, we're going to cover the endpoint backup feature within our dashboard. I don't want to take too much time on the intro, so let's get right into it. So the way our endpoint backup works is it is files and folders only, and I really need to stress this. There is no bare metal today. It's files and folders only. It will replicate your data on Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android devices. It works on laptops, desktops, and servers so that you can make sure that no matter what, it's going to cover you your gamut across the board. Again, though, this is files and folders. So if you want bare metal, we've got disaster recovery for that. We've got another demo we can send you so you can watch. That being said, endpoint backup is account-based. So what you would do is you would create a backup account, then you would allocate storage to it, then you would install the software, apply a policy as a wizard or remotely, and then let it back up. Pretty simple, right? So let's go ahead and jump into it. So if I go to endpoint backup, and I go to backup accounts, once I have the account created and installed, I can go ahead and manipulate it here. But first, to create an account, all I do is click the create backup account button, fill out the form fill, set your size, and that really is all there is to it. It'll create this account right here. And then once that account is created, we can see what you're using, what you were allocated rather, what you're using, how much in a percentage, when it created, any devices and alerts that you've got going on, email address for reset, any other information you want to leave behind. And then I can click on this blue box here, and I can apply a policy, which basically dictates, what I want to back up, when I want to back it up, how often I want to back it up, if I got a throttle, if I need to, ignore specific file sets, etc. I can do that by applying a policy here. I can also add devices or users to groups, both really, and then from there apply policies to groups. I can apply policies to devices. That's in the endpoint backup protected devices section to apply to devices. I can move accounts around. I can upgrade and downgrade accounts. I can change the email used for password reset. Suspend the account. This is great if you need to terminate somebody at the end of the week and you want to retain the data but don't want them accessing the data, but you want the administrators to still be able to access the data, you can suspend the account. This is also useful if, for example, you're an MSP and you have a client that's non-payment. You don't want a nuclear option delete, right? Because there's maybe years of history there that they would probably not like to lose. But with suspending an account, it gives you that option of saying, pay or I will delete, right? Cancel the account is the same as delete. You cancel the account within 48 hours, it will delete the data, it will purge it digitally. We cannot get it back after that point. So make sure that you are, absolutely sure that you want to cancel the account. If you reach out to us, if you send us an email within the 48-hour period, we can prevent it from being deleted. Just be aware though, if you send the request in a minute before, 48 hours, you might be too late, right? Because they have people that's actually got to stop the task from happening. Cleanup account is great if, for example, you want to remove a file or set of files or file type from a backup in the cloud after the fact. A good example of this is, let's say that you start backing up your data and somebody adds their movie collection to the backup set. Now, this will cause the data storage to grow, probably balloon, and you don't want to pay that much money, right? And so you want to say, I need help cleaning this up. I know that Aaron came along and started backing up his movie collection, and I need to purge video files. You could do that. You click cleanup account, and then you can from there choose a device, and then choose videos, and then I maybe have HR videos I need to keep on there. So just the last 2 weeks that Aaron uploaded and hit delete, and it'll do that purge for you. All right. That being said, we also have the option to log in as backup account. Sometimes the end user doesn't know where to go, and their view of this dashboard is going to be different than yours. So if you click on log in as backup account, you can piggyback and see what they're seeing. This is what it looks like to log in as an end user, right? I can see that the cloud data is there. I can share the data there, etc. I'm going to resume session as a partner. I can limit users' rights. Maybe I want them to be able to do their own recoveries. Maybe I want them to delete their own data. Maybe I want to allow them to share the data. Maybe I only want them to do recoveries. So I can hit limit user rights, and it prevents them from deleting data and sharing data. I can set the password. so that they don't have to go through the password reset, even though it's easy, just log out and hit the reset password button. And you can make a company administrator. So essentially, if you're an MSP, what you could do is you can create company accounts and then allocate storage or an appliance or connect to their O365 instance for cloud application backup. And then from there, you can associate a company administrator on the client side so that maybe you're augmenting their IT or maybe they just want insight. And then once you've made that administrator, if that person leaves, you can make somebody else an administrator or whatever they're asking for you to do. So if we go up to endpoint backup, back down to protected devices. Devices are here. I've got my little green dot showing that it is online and running. It's ready to receive a command. And I can cancel the jobs as they're running. I can configure jobs. This is like a policy, but it creates a policy by browsing the data set on the machine. It doesn't show you files and folders, but it shows you the folders. And this is for privacy reasons, but the idea is it gives a remote connection to that device so you can see what's on it, or at least the folder structure so you can choose what to back up in a more educated manner. Deactivate device makes it to where the software never longer runs on that device. Download logs pulls the Windows Event Viewer logs along with the backup logs. I can't stress how valuable that is. Windows Event Viewer logs sometimes will tell you if there's a problem with the VSS writers, and if maybe you have got conflicting software running. You want to know that without having to go to the device, right? Maybe our backup software is just saying it's not working, and the reason is a Windows error, and you need more information. That allows you to get that information. I know I said this doesn't do bare metal. You can ignore that. TBD, right? Or to be announced, I guess. Manage cache settings. So you can change how it caches the data. You can tell it to cache everything it uploads. You can tell it to cache only certain files within a certain size and type. You can tell it to cache nothing. The beautiful thing about the caching is that if you've got the local storage space, you can expedite subsequent backups by caching it locally, and then we only need to set up change blocks, right? Other thing to mention is that local cache can be used as a local encrypted backup as well. So if you've got a NAS device and you want to do a local backup, the cache can be used as both a local backup, but then also to expedite subsequent jobs. It's actually quite nice for that duality there. Run backup. This allows you to fire off a backup on the fly. And then update application, same thing, update the application on the fly, and then wipe device. Hopefully you never have to use this. If somebody, backs up or is working at a Starbucks, for example, and they leave their laptop there after several cups of coffee on the table, and they run to the restroom. Somebody steals their laptop. You want to protect your company data by wiping the data on the local device, but preserving it in the cloud. So it uses the local policy on the device to wipe what's selected for backup. So hopefully it's grabbing your company data. Now you might say, okay, well, despite us telling people not to use a corporate personal file, putting personal files on a corporate device, they'll do it anyway, right? And so to this end, you can protect them as well by going to wipe device. This deletes everything. It salts the earth on the machine. It will culminate in a blue screen. Try not to use this unless you absolutely have to. Important thing to note that this does require administrative access, and these are administrative credentials for that device, not a backup administration credentials. But also, this is not like military grade wipe. This is just a deletion. If they are, if they pull out the hard drive and use something like Recover, they might be able to pull the files back. But this is not to protect against military or corporate espionage. It's just this deletion for people who might be common thieves and protect your social security number or your vacation photos or something from a thief. That being said, it is pretty quick and to the point. I did want to mention that some of these features, like run backup and update application, I can do in mass. So if I click on all of these here and go to mass actions, I can cancel everyone's jobs, manage everyone's cache, run the backup for everyone, update the application for everyone. These last two are especially useful if you are managing a company and they have a sales force that is remote and they come into the office maybe once a month, maybe once a quarter. Run a backup. Just on the local LAN, run a backup so that people can not saturate their Wi-Fi, assuming that they've been circumventing backups, right? It can happen. So this allows you to force one to run. A couple other things I want to mention about endpoint backup before we call this one a wrap. When you were taking backups, all of our products encrypt everything in transit and at rest at 256-bit AES, but the endpoint backup specifically also does FIPS 140-2. If you have a police station and you want to win that opportunity, and they need to back up their body cam footage, this would be able to do that. It is FIPS 140-2 enabled. And also it supports BitLocker encryption natively. So if they've already got laptops that are encrypted with BitLocker, you can, after the fact, install our endpoint backup software. It uses the BitLocker APIs to be able to take the backup of the encrypted data and restore the encrypted data in encrypted format, but allow your BitLocker to re-encrypt or de-encrypt it when you need it, right? So it's nice and secure. Also, this offers a couple other features besides scheduled backups. It does offer what we call live protect. So you can choose a subset of data to, as soon as the CRC flag on a file flips, e.g. when it changes, we can back it up immediately, right? Especially useful if you have, an Excel file that everyone's using and you need to make sure it's always up to date. That's super handy for that, right? Just be careful when you choose things to back up. If you actually hit your Windows folder or your Windows cache directory or user cache directory for your app data or something like that, you could cause a backup to just keep going and going and going and going, and it'll never stop because you've got page file system information from memory on your Windows folder, and that could shoot you in the foot in the long run, both growth and it never stopping backing up. The final things I want to mention here too is unlimited versioning. We offer unlimited versioning with this. And with endpoint backup, we also offer ransomware monitoring and detecting. So we have the ability to check to see if there's any known ransomware file types or anomalous activity on your device based off of the change rate and new file creation rate, and tell you whether or not you've been hit by ransomware. And it's great because we offer those unlimited versions you can roll back to any point in time, right? That being said, it's pretty straightforward. You just install the software, set it up with the policy, and let her rip. And and if you ever need anything out, you just grab it, right? So pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but very complex in your mobile device management areas if you need to get those extra bells and whistles. That being said, I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the support team. You can reach out to your sales representative. They can put you in contact with myself, or someone from support, or an engineer. We're happy to answer any technical questions, and then the sales guys can also field pricing questions and deployment questions, etc. That being said, thank you again for your time. I hope you learned something, and have a great day. Bye.